What's going on, guys? It's Coach Noob back in the building with another one. As usual, it's going to be jam packed full of jewels. And your time is always appreciated because you could be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. Yo, this is another wild one, man. As usual, it's about a man who flees to Peru after his missing wife is found dead in a forest. Let's get to it.
A mother of three has been found dead after going missing in Lancaster, and the sheriff's department says her husband has now fled the country.
Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz is live in the newsroom with the very latest on this. Annabelle.
Hey, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, decision making. I already know off top, bro.
Pauline and David, the LA County Sheriff's Department says the body of 33-year-old Sheila Gutierrez was found in the Angeles National Forest 3 days ago. Gutierrez's husband, who is suspected of killing her, is believed to be in Peru.
From Peru.
Hey, it doesn't really make it look like you're that innocent if, you flee to another country, excuse me, after your wife is found dead, man. And, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to stay and help out, try to, or come back and help find out what happened to her or anything like that. It's just like, she's out of there and you're out of there, bro, but she's not coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like people who don't have anything to hide or really care for their wife, that's the first thing they on the first thing smoking back, man, to try to figure out what happened. They're not worried about, being accused of anything because they know they didn't have anything to do with it. So, it kind of makes them look a little guilty.
Rosillo calls on U.S. authorities for help
Para que este hombre lo atrapen.
to capture the man suspected of killing her daughter, 33-year-old Sheila Gutierrez. Her family says Gutierrez's husband, suspected of killing her, gave varying accounts of her whereabouts when she went missing over a week ago.
Que a mi hermana le había agarrado el ICE.
Gutierrez's sister says he first said ICE had taken her, later that she left with another man, and a third account that she'd suffered an accident. In Lancaster, friends and neighbors also sought answers. One shared this surveillance video. Authorities say this is Gutierrez's husband, Josimar Cabrera, dragging something large wrapped in fabric. Days later, investigators say they found Gutierrez's body over the side of an embankment in the Angeles National Forest.
Hey, man, then they got him on camera dragging something. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no garbage or no dirty laundry or nothing, bro. And then they find the body in a bag similar to what they saw you dragging. Yeah, of course they're gonna have questions for you now, bro. And by you dipping like that, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't help anything. And then, 33 years old, which she is, that's pretty young, bro. And I'm guessing that if they didn't say his age, he's somewhere around there, maybe give or take a couple years or whatever. But 33 years old, bro, that's young too for a man. And even if you do have kids with her, bro, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna break up with your wife, bro, then just break up with her. And you could still co-parent and take care of your kids, like I always say, man. And you shouldn't even care about what she's doing, bro. Like, if ICE take her or she leaves with another man or she suffered, an injury or whatever, bro, that's not really your business, man. As long as it's not, you know, life threatening to the point where you are gonna have to get the kids full time or something. You know what I'm saying? But unaliving her isn't the way to go about it, man. Really leaving it. If you're legally married, getting a divorce, bro, and setting up your life in a way that you're able to co-parent with her and moving on with your life too at the same time, man. So you don't really have to worry about what she's doing. That's what keeping yourself busy is for, man. Your hobbies, your work, things that you like to do, things that you weren't able to do because you were married. And had a family to take care of, which you still have to take care of your kids, but you're just not tied down. You don't have anybody to answer to anymore. You don't have to be at the house at a certain time for dinner or anything like that, man. You can go out and do what you want to do when you want to do it and don't have to worry about having to answer to anybody, man. So, really, divorce is the best answer in this circumstance, man, instead of taking matters into your own hands, you know.
Wrapped in similar material.
Muy reprimida, pero tengo que ser fuerte por mis nietos.
Very depressed, but I have to be strong for my grandchildren, says Rosillo. According to Univision 34, the Peruvian consulate says Cabrera arrived in Peru with the couple's 3 children, but that Peruvian authorities could not detain him because there was no warrant for his arrest.
So he's over there chilling with the kids, man. He off her and took the kids, and of course, he don't have no plans on coming back, man. And they can't do anything about it because he didn't have a warrant out for his arrest. So he's just over there living his best life, man. He's not worried about, coming back to the States anytime soon. And it's no telling what he told those kids, bro. Like, because they're the ones who really got to suffer the most out of, the situation that happened, man. Of course, they miss their mom. And, like any kid, they're asking about their mom. It's just if the shoe was on the other foot and something happened to their dad, of course, kids are going to ask about the parent that's missing, man, because, they need both parents while they're growing up. And they love both parents, you know what I'm saying? They don't pass judgment. That comes from, the parents, and it trickles down to the kids and eventually makes them feel some type of way or take that ideology of the parent and what they're saying about the other parent. Even if it may be true or not, it really doesn't have anything to do with the kids a lot of times, but they're the ones who end up taking, the blunt of it, because that's all that they hear every day, all day. And then, especially if like another parent isn't around and they're always hearing that, now they got this in their head that, oh, my dad ain't shit, or what I'm saying, my mom ain't shit. She don't do nothing for us. She don't love us. She don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're not letting the kid talk to the other parent. And sometimes, it takes a long time to build that relationship back. And then, other times it's just the relationship is always severed. But in this case, if they are old enough or when they do get old enough to find out what happened, man, they're going to be, upset with their dad, bro. And, he just messed up and traumatized those 3 kids, her family. Of course, they want to talk to their like grandparents or stuff like that, man, or people outside. So, I mean, it's only so much that you can keep from them, especially when they're old enough to look on the internet or have a cell phone and reach out to somebody like, hey, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't really like well thought out on his part, man. It seems like he was acting out of emotions, bro. And like I always say, don't act out of your emotions, man. Control them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because there's something that you should control. Is it okay to have them? Of course it is, bro. We wouldn't have emotions and feelings if we weren't supposed to have them. And at the same time, it's something that you have to master. And, it all starts with your way of thinking, man, and your mentality. That's why it's so important to have mental health and physical health and spiritual health, man. It's like just keeping the balance, yin and yang, bro. And, he didn't do that here.
At a vigil in Lancaster, the women and neighbors who knew Gutierrez held signs that read, "Justice for Sheila," and not one more. They said a prayer in her memory and called for justice in her name, describing her as an unconditional friend, a loving mother, and a hard worker.
Estamos acá sus amigos porque ella no tenía familia aquí en Estados Unidos.
Because she didn't have family here in the U.S., we are her voice in this moment, and that is what we ask for.
Gutierrez's mother says that her daughter reported her husband for domestic violence in Peru and that the last time they spoke, she told her she would be filing a report against him here. According to Gutierrez's neighbors, the 3 children are with their maternal grandmother. The cause of death has not yet been determined. Reporting live in the newsroom, Annabelle Munoz, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
So he took them and brought them to their maternal grandmother, man. So filing a report of domestic abuse is probably really not going to do anything, though. Who knows, like, what kind of laws or whatever they have in Peru against that. But we know what happens here, but he's not here. So, and according to Peru, they don't have any way to send him back either right now because there wasn't a warrant for his arrest. So maybe, they put a warrant out for him or something and they go get him. But right now, man, that dude, you know what I'm saying, he don't got no plans on coming back. He's chilling, bro. But, it's just a whole little mess that he got back here when he does, if and when he does come back, which I don't think he will, though. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, it's Coach Noob. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you're digging this kind of content. And your time is always appreciated because you could be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. Until next time, I'm out.